And it is back in motion again. Of course, you have injuries to deal with. That, and you have injuries like that, you're preparing to fight, and you keep getting pushed back because of these injuries psychologically that started breaking down. So we had to make sure all that was cleared up out of the way. And of course, now since we were Al got his plan, and it's a good one. And I'm looking for Al to get this back, the next couple of fights.
I noticed, I was watching some fights on HBO, but I'm pretty sure it's been going on for a long time. How do you think these fighters feel when they know they put their all into these fights, but when it comes to the judges, they pretty much don't see actually what went on inside the ring on paper? So when it comes to fights like that, how do how do fighters feel when it comes to losing fights that way?
Yes. That's where family come into, because you got to find a way, to try to make them understand, and give them a reason to keep on going. Because this is like equivalent to anybody that has a job. You work for a month, you promise to get paid in 2 weeks. Find a way to keep going for the whole month and still you don't get paid. So why should I go to work anymore and there's no check at the end of the rainbow for me? It's a terrible thing. It is a part of boxing. And it's sad to say the public don't know half of the stuff that's going on in boxing. It's a lot, really. And the wildest thing you can think of that could possibly happen, and you think it'd be, one of them plots in the movie, it really do happen in boxing, and you feel bad for the athlete, because you look at some of these fights, local fights, you look at some of the fights on ESPN or, the Comcast channel, what have you, the lower fights, little casinos. These dudes are fighting hard, man, with everything they got. And at the end of the day, if they get paid, it's a little bit of money. Then you'll turn around and flip on a pay-per-view TV. You done spent $80, $90 for a pay-per-view fight, and you may get 2-3 punches thrown throughout 3-4 rounds. So it's frustrating, and that's a part of boxing that got to be changed, man, in order for boxing to keep going.
Yeah, speaking on that, guys like Lamont, guys like Timothy Bradley, guys like getting back into action like Anthony himself, guys like Hank Lundy, guys like Austin Trout, they don't get those yearly shots. Why do guys like Gabriel Rosado, get fights like that on a consistent basis with the amount of losses? Is it purely because people look at him because of the blood and guts and glory that he puts in the ring? Is that what people want to see, or is that what the promoters present to the boxing world to make money?
I would say that was so blood and guts. Lamont been a blood and gut guy. Bradley been a blood and gut guy. You mean? So you got to throw that theory out the door, right? So what if? I was told one time that the reason why, especially black fighters, didn't get a crack is because blacks don't support other blacks in boxing. I don't think that's so. I think it's the fact that we don't see a whole lot of black fighters on the major networks, as opposed to other fights. And you hate to break it down to even that point, because boxing is so much greater than it. You see fighters, you hear stories about, well, we don't want to pay for this fight, we don't want to put this fight on because, the public's not interested in it. Then you'll turn around a week later and see a fight on TV with 2 fighters that the world don't even know exist. Not even rated in the top 100. So again, you got to throw that out the door. So I don't know what it is. I know back in the day when you had Ray Leonard, Ray Robinson, or take Ray Robinson out, Ray Leonard's time. Ray Leonard, Hagler, Hearn, Benitez, Duran. It wasn't about was he a Latino fighter or black fighter, white fighter, whatever. These were fighters, and they all fought each other at the height of their game. Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello, the list just go on and on and on. You know what I mean? And these were legendary fights. All of them wasn't world title fights. Some of them were non-title fights, but in sellout arenas, sold out arenas. We need to get back to that where the best fight the best.
So what'll happen when you have the top fighter being a black fighter, Floyd Mayweather, when he's done? What do you see happening after that?
I think it's going to, I really, really do think it's going to be a void for a short time, but if you look at the history of boxing, boxing has always been able to revive itself. Always. I mean, you go way, way back with John L. Sullivan and Gentleman James Corbin. It has always been able to revive itself, but you're going to have other young fighters and the existing fighters step up. I think that eventually the promoters will have to start working with one another, you know, and if you can do that, then of course the venues will become full again. You know what I mean?
So when you say, just like you just said just now, you said that fighters going to have to step up. So now Al Haymon has came to this area and signed a lot of fighters from this area. I wonder if they know they have to step up because they're with Al Haymon now.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Al is a friend, like a brother to me. You know what I mean? And he one of the only ones that when a fighter loses, that'll give you that second, that third, and that fourth shot. In a lot of cases, you have some of these fighters go on, and you know, if you got, you know, everybody's training, everybody's, you know, some of these fighters are real good at what they do, and if you put two good fighters against one another, somebody gonna win, somebody gonna lose. Does that suggest that because this fighter lost, he's no good, or he's a bum, or a duck, or whatever you want to label him? Come on, man. You know, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. So you have situations where some of these guys go out there and they may have a bad day, or they may take a loss today. They drop a fight. He got 31 wins and 1 loss, and we talk more about that 1 loss than we do the 31 wins. So now all of a sudden he a bump because he took 1 loss. That's crazy. MMA may survive because you have guys losing 4 or 5 times and still fight for a world title. And look at their venues.
So you think fights, the way fighting is right now in this era, will you think it'll ever be back to Sugar Ray Leonard, Hearns, Hagler, Duran?
I think it is, but it's going to require work from everybody that's involved in boxing to make them put it on. Because, you know, you go back, man, I mean, you can put up any of them old fights. I ran Wilfredo Gomez, Little Danny Red Lopez. Any of these fights, James the Heat Kitchen, the list goes on and on and on and on. And you look at them venues, sell-out crowds, people were enjoying themselves, you know, and wasn't a whole lot of booing. It seems like now people go to fights just to boo.
But now it's like, even the time when Sugar Ray Leonard and Hearns were battling each other because they wanted to see, and like you said, it wasn't for championships. They wanted to fight the best fighter that was available. So now we have guys who have championship talent in this area. So when will it be the moment when promoters are just going to let that kind of fight happen and not let it be for a championship?
I think it's got to be like the man from the fan itself, the public, you know, along with the fighter, and say enough is enough. If we're going to pay for these, you know, pay-per-view fights, or we're going to spend all this type of money to come see you fight, then we want to see the best fight the best, you know. I look at people, like you say, you name some of the fighters. You look at people, you look at Lamont, and you think about some of the fights that he fought, and the people that he fought against. Bradley, Ortiz, Kendall Hope, Lucas Matisse, Amir Khan. These legitimate fighters, man.
And also, in each state, I'm pretty sure, like in Washington, D.C., we have so much talent right here that our fighters probably can put on a good show on a big card themselves. But I guess each state has that type of talent. So, like you said, it's just basically built on the promoters just making it happen. Without it being a championship fight, they just need to throw big cards like that so people can see the talent.
That was one of the reasons why we created, a headbanger promotion. Because you do have a lot, especially on the East Coast alone, DC alone, you got a lot of good talent and fighters here in the city alone. And then when you go on up the coast, the talent is off the chain. On the East Coast itself, you got all these beautiful places. You got the bar places, you got the Verizon. Man, you can have mega fights this year on the East Coast by itself.
And tell me something. It was one thing I learned, and I also observed actually when Hopkins came here, and it was Hopkins on the main event, Sean Porter, Malignaggi on the fight under the card. You got the Charlo brother. I'm not sure if the Charlo brother was on that card, but still, Gabe Rosado was on that card. And I noticed that it was no area fighter televised on that card. It was just on the undercard. So what was their thinking? Were they trying to fill out this area to see what kind of draw that would come?
Well, if you look at, of course, for Lamont and Mia fought here, it was like a 20-year type of gap. But the people saw them numbers. Then the Lamont Kendall Holt fight, the Eric Jean fight, good numbers. Go down further down, Salisbury, Fernando, when Fernando wasn't even considered to be a prospect, get 9,000 and 10,000 people come down there. So it's obvious that we can get them numbers. Why? And I think it's crazy to come in them cities and have these fights and throw our fighters from the city on the undercard, but we don't get no airtime.
And that boils down to what?
Again, you got to put it in the realm of politics. Why, I don't know. It should have been a bigger cry to have some of our fighters being televised on TV. And that should be one of the selling points when promoters come here.
There you have it. Larry Hunter. Got Anthony Peterson going to be up there with Shelton Washington. He's going to be in his corner. You guys seen him before, instructing them guys to go out and win and be aggressive at the Headbangers Gym. Thanks a lot, Barry.